So yeah, this one's going to be very interesting. It's very different because I am kind of known for my takes of metal and prog, and here I am talking about pop. So I already made one video earlier this year. I've put it up here, kind of talking about my love of pop music within 2024, and I want to kind of continue that by giving you guys recommendations for pop listens in the fall and in the autumn to kind of bring in this time of the year. Full disclosure, I love autumn. Autumn's my favorite time of the year. It's part of the reason why I got married in the fall, even though we missed it by just that much. But, I wanted that to be like the unofficial start of fall for me. I love pumpkin spice lattes. I love big fluffy scarves. I love crunching tree leaves. The whole atmosphere of fall is one that just makes me so excited. And finally, I'm not sweating my balls off because it's not 1,000,000 degrees outside. I'm not sitting in front of 3 different fans and 1 AC unit. I'm not taking a shower every other minute because I'm just drenched in sweat. That's but I wanted to also recommend some pop records for you guys, for the metalheads, for the prog nerds. So yeah, let's talk about some pop records that I've been grooving to this year that I think you guys will too. I've given some of these records reviews, and I don't think I've given reviews of all of them. I know for a fact I haven't, but I wanted to at least talk about some of these and kind of give you guys recommendations of hey, if you wanted to try some pop, here's a great way to bring in the good vibes of autumn. First off is one that came in at the end of summer, and that is, I'll have the album covers right here, Sabrina Carpenter's Short and Sweet. So yeah, I was really into a huge Sabrina Carpenter kick this year. After Please 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 came out, I was immediately hooked, and I went back and I listened to her full discography. So I love the Emails I Can't Send, as well as her first album of Eyes Wide Open. Wasn't a big fan of her Singular Act 1 and 2, nor her Evolution albums, but Emails I Can't Send and her debut album really loved, and then Short and Sweet just skyrocketed her. It's just exactly what the album title says. It's short and it's sweet. It's 36 minutes long. It's punchy. It's immediate. I love the production side of this, and it's just so pleasant. A lot of the lyrics on here can get a little vulgar at times. There's a couple of moments where even I'm just clutching my pearls. But I still think it's a really fun time. And if you kind of like this, and I'm using this terminology as descriptors and not as demeaning or as a negative, but this kind of juvenile, very innocent, very you're just starting out as an adult, you're trying to find your own way, and you're still kind of playing the whole socializing game, then I really recommend this. I love this record. I mean, I have half of this album already saved. I really like some of the deeper cuts like Coincidence and Sharpest Tool and Good Graces. I really, really enjoy those. But, some of the bangers like Taste and Please, Please, Please and Espresso, they're all great. They're all great. So that's kind of my first recommendation of the lot. The second one is one that you should already hear by now, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess from Chapel Rowan. Absolute banger. Came out last year, and I love that Chapel is just really getting the notoriety that she deserves. It's quirky, it's queer, it's in your face, it's unapologetic, and I absolutely just love singing along to half these tracks. Pink Pony Club, I absolutely just, I adore. Good Luck Babe is another one that I absolutely love. Yeah, the whole album is a banger. Absolutely a banger. If you haven't listened to it already, please do. It's great. Another one is one that I've gushed many times, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time with. It is The Prelude to Ecstasy by The Last Dinner Party. For the longest time, this was, and maybe it still is, we'll see, my favorite record of this year. It's, an all-women band, and I love how, in your face it is, but it's kind of got that same singer or songwriter structure that a Kate Bush would have. It's like if Kate Bush and the Spice Girls just blended together. It's immediate, it's hooky, it's catchy. I've been singing these songs in my head all year, and I can't help but get them, get it out. It's one that, once again, I absolutely love. I will sing it to its high praise. But yeah. Another one that I've really been digging is This Is How Tomorrow Moves from BDoobie. I believe is how you pronounce it. I've been loving this. This one's kind of like a throwback to the singer-songwriters from the 90s. You know, it's like a woman acoustic guitar or guitar, and it's got a lot of like the 90s flair. You know, like I'm thinking of like Alanis Morissette or Sheryl Crow, like that kind of style. You know, it's a little bit more pop rock infused, but I just really like the presentation and how, once again, how inviting it is. Take a Bite and Coming Home are my two favorite tracks from this record. And I love how inviting and how fun it is. You know, it's got that really pleasant style to it. And if you like more of that 90s rock, that 90s femme forward rock, I think you're really, really going to love this one. Another one that I haven't talked about is Charm by Clario. This was one that, once again, just absolutely blew me away. I love how much more of like, kind of like smooth jazz hip hop is found on here. There's a little bit more of a, I don't know, like this groove to it that I wasn't expecting, like this almost funk to it, but it's still very much like a lo-fi. It's almost like the lo-fi girl that decided to be a singer-songwriter within it as well. And once again, I just love how inviting it is. I love how fun it is. Sexy to Someone has this really fun jazz bar flair to it, and Add Up My Love is one that, once again, it just immediately brings me into the fold of things. And Add Up My Love has this almost Motown feel to it that I just can't help but groove along to. So yeah, if you're looking for something that's a little bit off the beaten track, yeah, I would check out Charm from Clario. This next one is one that I was recommended by a fan of mine. They said, hey, I see that you've been listening to a lot of pop music. You should really check this one out. And that is Ali X and her album Girl With No Face. This is straight up 80s new wave pop. You know, like this is getting that good feels from the 80s. The synth movements, the production side of things, the percussion is all really just ripped out of the 80s. And if you're really a fan of that, you're going to love this record. I am kind of touch and go with this style, but honestly, this is just immediately so inviting for me. I love Girl With No Face, the title track, as well as Hardware, Software, and Black Eye. I think the most fun track, the one that I keep bouncing to the most, is Off With Her Tits. It's just, I love a track that's unabashedly in your face, aggressive, and oomph. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more of a synthwave 80s rock, Girl With No Face from Ali X is one that I very highly recommend. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more of like a jazz lounge singer, like but way back in the past, like we're looking at like a Judy Garland, then I highly recommend Stella Cole and her self-titled debut album. I think out of all the albums this year, this one might be the one that I've listened to the most. It's the one that I'll put on like first thing in the morning when I need just a little bit of a pickup, but I don't want something that's so aggravating or something that's so grating. You know, I barely had my first cup of coffee. I'm only getting up, but I want something to fill the space. And this is just a delight. You know, Stella's vocal works is as smooth as a thick honey. You know, it's got that viscosity about it that a lot of the jazz singers from like the 30s and 40s would have. Once again, I'm looking at Judy Garland, and she even does a brilliant rendition of Over the Rainbow that I absolutely adore. So if you're looking for something that's, you know, a little bit more classical, a little bit from a bygone era that we don't really hear a whole lot of, like I know that we have crooners nowadays within, you know, a Michael Bublé or a Matt Dusk, but we don't have that same kind of modernized vocal works within the feminine side of things. You know, we don't have like the Ella Fitzgeralds. We don't have the Judy Garlands, you know, and I'm really glad that Stella Cole is here, kind of at least maintaining the mantle in that sense. Okay, I think one of the last ones that I'll touch upon, maybe I'll do like one or two more, but Remy Wolf with Big Ideas. That album that came out this year was a lot more fun. You know, if you're looking for more of like a hip hop, a little bit more of a danceable thing, I really love her two opening tracks from this album of Cinderella and Soup. It's got this inviting, I love how big Remy's voice is on this. You know, it's got this 70s throwback to it, like the 70s funk within this hip hop styles. It's got this kind of like, I don't know, this like the big queens from the 70s, you know, a little bit of the disco, a little bit of the funk. Like I can picture like the big hair, the big shoes, just everything being big. I love how inviting this is. Like it makes me want to just kind of dance in my chair. Really enjoy that one. I highly recommend this one. It's just a fun time. Okay, I'll leave you with two more, and these are ones that I have actually given full-on reviews for. Radical Optimism by Dua Lipa. Absolutely love. You know, this was one of my favorite records of this year. It's kind of contending for within my top 5. Training Season, These Walls, and Maria. Absolutely inviting, very infectious, very danceable. I highly recommend checking out the extended version of this album. I think that is where this album really, really shines, and that is what I particularly love. Highly, highly recommend this one just for just look at the album title itself, Radical Optimism. Like, how can you not? A little cheat, because I said I was only going to do 2, but I realized there's one that I haven't talked about. If you haven't checked out Charlie XCX's album of Brat, do so. I know not everybody's into the hyper pop, the much more aggressive styles, the kind of like grab you by your hair and just, but I loved it. I think you should really check it out. I've also really been loving the Ariana Grande of Eternal Sunshine. It does feel a little bit dated, I will say. Like it feels a little bit more like the pop that we got like 5 years ago. I just feel like it's, I don't know, like Drake and that kind of style of pop music, and what saves it for me is Ariana's vocal works, you know, and her eye for attention and just the production side of things. I like that one, but I wouldn't necessarily give it a big recommendation if I'm being honest. But the other one, the final one that I'm going to leave you with is Magdalena Bay's Imaginal Disc. I've already talked about it. I've given a full-length album review of this one, but damn, I have been loving this record. The more I listen to it, the more I end up loving it. This is the one that's kind of competing for number 1 spot of my albums of the year. I'm going to be talking about this record. Well, it will have already happened, but like this coming weekend as I'm filming, I've got the round table with a bunch of my buddies talking about the best, worst, and most surprising albums in Prog. You're going to hear me gush about this record. But yeah, I've loved how smooth it is. I love the blending of synthwave and progressive rock in this new area. And I really hope that more bands decide to play with this ball. Absolutely loved it. If you haven't listened to it already, I highly recommend you do. So yeah, there you go. There you go. Those are some of my recommendations for the fall. Dive into some of these. I hope you will enjoy them. I listened to a lot of these kind of tracks over the summer that I've been really grooving to a lot of pop music. And I didn't even touch upon other ones like Gracie Abrams and Olivia Rodrigo. Obviously, we all know that I love Taylor Swift, but Renee Rapp was really good this year as well. Billie Eilish's record was pretty good. Like, I listened to Lunch like 5, 10, maybe even 20 times. Some really, really great pop music that came out this year. I recommend just checking them out. You know, like, I don't know what it was about this year, but this year really was the year of pop for me. So I hope you take some recommendations. I hope something piqued your interest, and I hope that you will go forth and enjoy some of this great, great tunes. And that's what I've got for you guys today. That's what I've got. So I hope that this does well. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I know that, you know, a lot of people aren't as into pop, but that was one of the things that really surprised me this year. I gave it a chance and I found I really, really loved it. So yeah, hopefully you will too, and you will take the good vibes into autumn as I do. So that's what I've got. What did you guys think about this? What are some of the pop records that you've been listening to this fall? What are some just general albums that you're excited to listen to this fall? Let me know all about that by commenting down below. And I think that's where I'm going to leave you for today. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.